Broadcasting good news using social media. For this module, we're going to start with the Twitter platform to broadcast good news, and then we'll look at some of the other social media platforms. I'm going to be showing you how individual teachers are sharing good news as well as entire school districts. And so I'll be giving you lots of good ideas, practical things that you can start using right away. This is Twitter as organized through TweetDeck. TweetDeck is what's giving us these nice little columns here. You can see Leiden Pride. This is Leiden Pride. This is everything going on in the high school. And Jason is the principal there. And Jason does a great job of bringing together all of the voices to share the good news. So he asks all of his staff members, his community members, board members, administrators, and students to all broadcast great news coming out of their schools. It's very exciting. It's a fun one to watch because they have gone one-to-one with Chromebooks. So if that's something of interest, you could follow along to what they're doing. Here is an example of what's coming out of there. So what I do is I kind of keep theirs as one of the columns in my TweetDeck so I kind of see what's going on. And then if somebody has questions, I have a great resource right here that I can go back to. Now, Tony is in New York, and he's my elementary example. I love watching Tony's 18,000 plus tweets. He walks around his building, snap, snap, snap. What's great about this is Jason and Tony are two leaders that are snapping away. The one thing, elementary, high school, doesn't matter. You want to make sure that you vary your tweets. Make sure it's not just all about sports. You want to make sure that you're covering all different things that are going on in the building, including professional development, parent meetings, all different things, to give a real round picture of the great things that are happening. We want to showcase student work. And when we did that in the past, we could maybe put it in the hallway. Now we want to put it in the global hallway, the great stuff that is going on. How is this done? It's done through hashtag sharing of student projects, meaning the hashtag is made up. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some hashtags from individual teachers, buildings, districts, and then interest groups like Math Chat and so on and so forth. Anyone can make up a hashtag. Start making yours up right now. The only thing is just make sure it's unique, meaning search for it, and you want to make sure that another group isn't using it. And so you want to go ahead and make up your hashtag, and then you can go ahead and get started creating a buzz. You want to create this buzz about showcasing the cool things. Now, hashtag might be new to you, but the hashtag is the part that unites everything. So if you have 40 classrooms in one building, they would be united under one hashtag. If you have 40 buildings, you might have one district hashtag. So the hashtag is the uniting piece to bring everybody together that's broadcasting. Gives a nice snapshot to your community about the cool things that are going on in your buildings. I'm not sure if everybody's here yet, but there's a lot of people that are on Twitter, and it's another way to reach your families. It is not enough now to send a paper newsletter. We all know as parents they don't always get home. So here's Lissa. She is an instructional coach in a primary building, and she snaps away. And you might want to follow Mrs. Blake at D60 Homes Tech. That's her username. And you could follow her to kind of watch what she's doing. If you are a primary teacher, I strongly suggest you follow Lissa. She has so many good creative ideas, and they're not one-to-one. They have iPads, they have computers, they have all different types of computers. So it's a really interesting, very diverse group to keep your eye on. Now, they're doing some of the old classics, but what she's doing is she's snapping and snapping and getting it out to the community. And here's the curriculum director in the same district, and she's just walking around doing her regular work. She just takes out her phone, snaps a picture, and sends a quick tweet. In this tweet, you can see that she also did a shout out to the superintendent and to the principal of this building in particular. We jumped over to the middle school in the same district, and this is a math class. Amber sharing what's going on. Amber's the assistant principal there, and she's sharing some of the great stuff that's going on in her building. I love this. When we were in professional development, Jenny said, I can't do this. I won't do this. I can't Twitter. And she started. She just tried it. And she's way out in the middle of Iowa. And I watch her preschool class all the time because she's doing such great things. She's always done great things. It's just another way for her parents to follow along about what their lovies are doing at school. What's interesting is her feedback is coming from grandparents and how much they love to watch the Twitter stream. And I thought, what a great way. It's a great way to know what's going on. And what a great way to come home and say, oh, I saw you were digging for dinosaurs today, or dog bones, or whatever they were digging for. And that it's just another way to communicate with your families and your community at large. You can be specific on your broadcasting if you want. In this case, we want to focus our teachers, our students on our Common Core state standards success. And this one is a tweet from my son's high school, actually. And Dr. Waterman just walked around and snap, 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 great things that were going on. And what's wonderful about that is when you have one of those big high schools, I don't care if you have a small high school, great information doesn't always get outside of the walls of the school. So we can go ahead and force that. Now, I love this. I can't imagine how much that dog must shed. But doesn't that look lovely to have dogs come in and snuggle up with reading dogs? I think that looks delightful. Let's look at the tweet on this one so you can kind of the anatomy of this tweet. This is coming from the school librarian. You can see at the top. And then this must be going to, it looks like first grade teacher, Mrs. B's first grade teacher. And she's hashtagged a few other things. And so I believe their district hashtag is BSD 106. Yes, I'm almost sure it is. And so this coming out of her library is now on the district hashtag feed for that day. Now here's Mrs. B, and this is an example of a classroom teacher. And Mrs. B, I'm going to guess she's been doing this writing assignment before. So it's the same writing assignment, but what she did is just to get it to the global bulletin board, if you want to imagine that visual. What she did is she just snapped a picture of it, and then she just went ahead and posted that. In this case, she didn't put a student name with that writing. So you might just really know what your policy means on that one. Mrs. B snapping away. And what this is she took 3 separate pictures, and then there's apps that you can use to go ahead and stitch them together like that. And sometimes they have pretty backgrounds. There's all different apps that can do that. Photo Mosaic, I believe, is one of them. And now we go back to preschool, and we can check in with our friends there. So it's an ongoing broadcast of cool things. So what some districts do is they make a district Twitter account, and that's like the official news of the district, and they have one person in charge of it. That's totally fine. But I strongly suggest that if your purpose is to create a buzz about the great things going on in your district, you want to, instead of having just one person in charge of the message, you want to have everybody part of the celebration of learning. And in this case, this is an entire school district, a K through 8 school district, pretty large one. And what they've done is they've asked that everybody, when they tweet, that they would include the DG58 Learns. What's nice about watching this hashtag in particular, they have gone one-to-one with iPads. So if that's somewhere you're going, then you can just tune into their hashtag and maybe pick up some tips, tricks, strategies, see what they're doing. So that's kind of a reason to follow the hashtag, even if you are outside of that geographic area, for example. This is a hashtag I follow. I give for people that are going one-to-one with Chromebooks. That's what Leiden is doing, and this is a high school. So if you're one-to-one Chromebook or you're thinking about getting there, watch this hashtag. What are they doing? And then that will give you ideas of what to do. Now, Tony in New York this is elementary. He has all different types of technology. I don't know if they're one-to-one at this point, but his is a model of what an elementary principal can do by going around and snapping pictures of what's going on. Now, he's not the only one that uses that hashtag. This is for his building. So he asks his teachers, anybody that's on Twitter, just make sure that you include this. So it's an ongoing broadcast of the cool stuff that they're doing. Here's that district that I showed you earlier with Lissa, and this one is a great model. They're only about a year into the whole use of Twitter, so it's kind of fun to see what's happening, and you can see what's going on in K-8 buildings, 3 different buildings, but all different technologies. They're not one-to-one. They're not just Mac. They're not just PC. They've kind of got everything going on, so that's a good one to watch. Now here's a slight shift. This is the third chat. These are not specifically third grade teachers in one district. This is any third grade teacher that wants to chat can join the conversation. There's all different ones for every discipline. This is just math people. So if you need some math ideas, some math resources, you can tune into the math chat. This one was very helpful, especially as there's been so many changes in the Common Core state standards, and there's very few books that were available till recently. And so this ongoing conversation was really where the experts were coming together to talk more about Common Core. This is, I think, hands down the biggest educational chat. And EdChat is held on Tuesdays, once in the morning and once in the evening. And each week they talk about a different topic. So one week it might be assessment, one week it might be something else. That segment covered Twitter as a way to broadcast because that's really how most districts and teachers are using. That's the platform that they use. But some people are using Facebook. And Facebook, just make sure before you use Facebook, make sure your policy it says that you can use Facebook or any social media for that matter. And also make sure that the students, if you're going to have pictures, make sure that you have parent permission to put their pictures on Facebook, on Twitter, anywhere. Just make sure that you have whatever forms need to be signed, make sure they're signed. Now, Deb is the principal at this building, and she's awesome. She's been on Facebook for years, and one of the things that she's most proud of is the photo album that she has built over the years of the different activities, everything going on. With that said, make sure if you are going to use student images on any platform, make sure that they can be photographed. That's really important. YouTube's another great way to broadcast what you're doing, and you can create a channel. Again, I didn't emphasize that because unfortunately YouTube is blocked in a lot of places. So you create a channel for your classroom, for your building, for your district, and then all the great things can be shared right to that channel. Pinterest. It's emerging as a social network. I'm going to go ahead and say that. And of course, I just love this. I had to include it. And so this is an example of what happens. The image itself was posted on Pinterest, but NEA went ahead and tweeted about that picture on Pinterest. I clicked on it, and then same thing happened here. I was on Pinterest and I put in, I think, class blogs or something I was searching for, and I found this PE one that was a link from Pinterest. And then I linked out. That's how this works. A lot of times it's from one social media platform to the other. You're linking kind of around. And I found this teacher's very connected, got her Twitter going on, and it was one of the top rated phys ed sites. So link, 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 link. That's kind of how this whole thing works. Broadcast. Get your good news out there. There's good news. Get it beyond your bulletin board. Thanks.